The part 1 of this video was not enough. So I decided to make another video where I will add additional points and reasons why, in my personal experience, I think that the statistics say that more than 70% of developers in a private survey said that they were feeling overwhelmed when learning to code. So when people like us decided to come forward and say that we felt overwhelmed when learning, I was really concerned. So I decided to make the first video, but it was not enough, so here we are. Greetings, dear friends, fellow programmers, and those aspiring to be. Welcome back to Marco Code Academy, a place where we are learning to code together every day, one video at a time. So, as you already heard, in this video, we'll keep going strong on our journey to talking about all the common pitfalls that make people feel really overwhelmed when starting to learn to code. So, let's get right into our chapter number 4. Alright, let's talk about tools and IDEs. Do not get me wrong, they are awesome. Nowadays, more than ever, your tools and IDEs are helping you out so much when you are coding. You have autocomplete, you have smart detection, you have so many smart warnings popping up at you when you make a mistake that learning to code and actually coding is easier than ever. But there is a catch. Over-relying on these tools can actually hold you back. If you rely too much on things like autocompletes or things that are suggesting how you can make your code better, and you utilize those features a lot and not invest time into learning why the suggestion was made in the first place by the tool, you, my friend, will be in a lot of trouble. I have a challenge for you. Try coding in Notepad, a plain Notepad. If you struggle to build an application that is fairly simple, and you fail to remember the syntax of the programming language you are used to using, that means that you probably need to reduce the number of tools that you are using in your day-to-day life of coding. Of course, that is if you're at least a bit experienced. If you're just getting started, then this is not relevant for you. But when you do become more experienced, you can try this test out. Because when I was doing a job interview, and when I was asked to write code on the blackboard with a pen, I was in a world of pain and shame at the same time. Because I was not able, at that point I had more than 3 years of experience as a .NET developer, just to have a reference, and I was not able to recall as simple things as using console write line properly. I couldn't remember how to write it completely. That is because when I just got started with my coding career, I was used to using ReSharper, which is an amazing tool. It's extremely smart, but it makes you over-rely on it. It helps you so much and you trust it so much that you basically do not think about what it is suggesting, you just accept the suggestions, and you then be proud about the fact that people are saying that your code looks very nice. Even though you are not smart or informed enough at that point that what you are doing is bad for you, because you're preventing you to understand what needs to be done in order to have that quality code. So when I switched jobs and did not have ReSharper at my disposal, initially I was feeling really frustrated because I was used to using it and I was able to write code way quicker and the code quality was way better as well. And that is when it occurred to me that my coding quality and my coding experience was actually not so high as I thought it was. Because it was not me who was doing the coding, it was ReSharper. So I decided that until I truly understand what is happening and why the suggestions that are appearing, I would not use any kind of tools that are suggesting things to you. So I wanted to master everything and understand and grow and learn how things work really, and only then I decided to treat myself with ReSharper subscription once again. And now if you see other videos, you will see that I'm using it, but I'm using it in a different way. When I see a suggestion, I think about whether it's a good suggestion and if I like it or not, and then make an informed decision whether I should accept it or I should not. And also, when you grow and become better, the number of suggestions should be reduced significantly. That's also a nice way for you to see that you are becoming a better developer. So, what I'm saying here is that you should not exclude and stop using any of the tools, because your output would be significantly better if you use IntelliSense in Visual Studio and ReSharper and tools of those sorts for any programming language, because you will be able to do the same work in way less time, which is always great. But what I am saying is that you should not take things without thinking and without understanding why they are presented to you, and you should first invest into growing and learning and becoming better as a programmer on your own, and only then accept the help from tools. And also, when you think about it, IDEs are competing every single second with each other. Who is going to create a better product that is going to make our lives easier and help us write code quicker without us having to code or without us having to think about potential poor practices that we might be using? So core IDEs on their own can do this for us, and they are doing it for us more and more every day. Which is exactly why when I was supposed to write code on the blackboard, I sucked at it, because I was used to IntelliSense from Visual Studio. I was used to so many things helping me that I basically forgot how the basic syntax should look like. We've all been there. We start learning to code, and immediately, as soon as we have learned the basics of a programming language, we're like, I'll build the next Facebook. Well, you will not. I have to disappoint you. You will probably not be able to do it in a foreseeable future, because to build something like that is not just about knowing the basics, knowing the syntax. As we already mentioned quite a few times, it's way more complicated than that. How would you scale your business when you just learn the basics of a language? How would you allow millions of users to use your application with your current knowledge? Do you know where to begin? Knowing those kinds of things is something that comes over time. You have to invest time and effort into learning those small things and making incremental steps towards becoming an amazing developer. And you can do it, but you just have to have reasonable expectations that are not instant. Because if you have expectations that you will become instantly amazing at development, you are in for a lot of disappointment, my friend. And I don't want you to be disappointed. I do not think you are not able to do it. I know you are, but you have to be aware that it takes time and effort. It's a slow process to become great at something. It's not easy to become a billionaire like Mark Zuckerberg or somebody like that. It takes a lot of time and effort that needs to go into building yourself and your skills before you can deliver something so serious. I'm saying this only because I went through this. I was feeling like this when I was starting with my career. I wanted to learn everything and now. And I was always feeling like I'm late, like I need to do more, like I want to become an amazing developer right now within the next 2 weeks. And basically, I was constantly disappointed because I would stumble upon next wall that took months for me to outgrow in order to be able to jump over it. So basically, I had to spend time learning, building stuff, fixing problems, and also handling those exceptions and bugs in my code before I was able to actually land my first job and grow as a professional. And of course, then when I landed my first job, the race was not over. It was just getting started. That is the time when I just started seeing how programming actually looks like in a professional world. And if you did not see that, you will probably have the same experience as I did, you will find out that it's way different from what you expected when working on your own. And that's perfectly fine. You need to go through all the steps and different scenarios in order to become an amazing professional. And of course, if you do your part, work really hard, invest a lot of time and effort, during a few years in the future, you will probably become an amazing senior developer with a skill set that will allow you to build something amazing. But if you expect to make it to that point within a few months, you, my friend, will be disappointed. And that is why so many people fail at becoming programmers, because they disappoint themselves and they make themselves too unrealistic expectations that they fail to deliver. Not because they're not good enough, but because the expectations are not realistic. So please do not fall into this trap, and make sure that you are making small tasks, small achievements, making baby steps, and in a few years, I'm sure you will be amazing. Trying to learn on your own without being in touch with other people in the process can be really difficult for anybody, because it is really easy to feel stuck or overwhelmed, or that you don't know in which direction to go from the current point. But the good news is there are so many options for you not to go through it alone. There are online communities, groups, forums, and platforms that were entirely built to make your learning curve and learning path more enjoyable. There is an entire community of programmers who've been in the past in the exact situation where you are right now, and they will understand completely how you feel. Because when you think about it, what I'm trying to do here is, in this and all the previous and all the future videos that I built here, is I do my best to not only talk about stuff in theory, but I try to include as much as my personal stories and experiences as I possibly can. That way, you will know that you are not alone, you will know that you are not going through this completely on your own, and that your case is unique, and that nobody else has the same feelings and struggles that you have right now. But all of us are going through fairly similar problems and issues and hoops that we need to jump through in order to be successful in the world of programming. For example, when I was learning to code, at a certain point, about 1 month into learning, I started feeling really stuck. I felt like I've covered all the courses that were necessary, but from that point I had no idea what to do next. And I tried Googling, tried figuring out what might be a good idea, but I did not have enough experience or understanding to know what is the good path for me. So I started bothering my colleagues at the university, and I started talking to them and people who were already working as programmers, and I tried collecting information that I would then parse in my head and try to figure out, where do I see myself going, in which direction would I like to go, and where would I like to end up at. So that way, I figured out that I wanted to become a web developer and also a game developer, but game development was so tough to land a job that I ended up being a web developer, which was awesome, and I love it, every bit and piece of it, even now. So basically, the fact that I started talking to other, more experienced people got me unstuck. I was able to figure out what are the courses, projects, and things that I needed to learn, build, and design in order to get to a point to land a job in the industry that I wanted to join. So basically, the main premise here is that you are not alone. There are so many people out there who know exactly how you feel and what are the pain points that you struggle with right now, and that can help you and will help you. For example, I'm really open and really like communicating with you people in the comment section of my videos. Whenever I see a comment, I'm really eager to try to help a person or to get into conversation with a person and do my best to help if I can, of course. So You're not alone, have that in mind, and if you need any help from me maybe, feel free to reach out in the comment section of this video. But besides that, you can always join forums, communities, groups, and things of those sorts to feel like a part of a community. You will be amazed by the amount of stuff you can learn by just talking to other colleagues. And there you have it. My friend, that was everything I have prepared for you for this video, dedicated to a very serious topic that I see a lot of people struggle with. So, if you enjoyed this video and have learned something useful from it, please feel free to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so you do not miss out on the upcoming valuable videos that I have in store for you. Also, as I mentioned, please find me in the comment section with any questions or concerns you might have. And yeah, I would like to thank you for watching and wish you an amazing day. Happy coding!